Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. गाड़ी आगे चलो यार. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Maruti Suzuki Super Carry, which is actually based on the Carry Futura. This was launched in 2016 and this is actually the 8th generation model. So it's based on that from 1985. So this might be 8th generation, but the Carry is in its 13th generation. And if you see the design, it might remind you of a car. Well, it does, of course, the Eco, because they are related, which I'll talk when driving, of course. But firstly, I want to thank Shivam AutoZone for lending me this vehicle. So do click on the link in the pinned comment and give them a follow on Instagram. They are one of the biggest dealerships in Mumbai and they have like Nexa, Arena, commercial, everything possible under the sun. It says demo car right there. Key is very basic and plain. Okay, everything is halogen, so halogen lights. There's a Suzuki logo. The front has a lot of steel in it for better safety. And you've got two wipers, which is revolutionary. A warning triangle always there. Super Carry CNG. Some graphics here. Non-polluting vehicle. CNG is so efficient, right? That's why there's another CNG sticker here. Oh my god, there's a fast tag as well. So the thing is that the bumper is plastic. It's not finished in body color. This is white color. There's also a silver color option, but I usually see white only in this vehicle. There's a reflective tape here and a reflector here as well. Now you can see the underbody. Well, it gets coil springs at the front, which is quite nice. Otherwise, you can see the wheels also. They look quite cool from here, honestly. Now the horn placement is right here. And this vehicle is actually 3.8 meters long and the wheelbase is around 2.1 meters. So it's quite compact a vehicle. Now, when I come to the side, I realize that the tires are really chintu-mintu. The tire size actually is 155. These are 13 inches. Profile is not written, but Faisal Khan's measurements of truth will measure, or rather fingers of measurement will measure that this is around 70 profile. There you see coil springs, of course, and some vents here for better breathing. Oh, you get a mud guard as well. Says CNG here. Again, reflective tape almost everywhere. You got this hook treatment in order to secure your luggage, of course, and the vehicle details are written right here. Now, this is where CNG actually goes. So we'll just open it. Yeah, this is where you actually fill in CNG. So the CNG tank can accommodate between 9 to 11 liters depending on the pressure. This is for petrol. Only 5 liters of petrol as reserve in the CNG variant. And when you come down, you see the CNG tank. So there are two of these. So what do? Well, obviously store CNG in them. 35 liters equivalent of water, of course. So this is a mid-engine where the engine is actually placed below your seat. Now this is the air intake, that is the window, and massive loading bay. This is actually 2.2 meters in length, 1.5 meters in width and 300 meters, or rather 300 millimeters in height. If it was 300 meters, my goodness, this would be like crazy. It might just impede an aircraft which is going. Anyways, says stop. So we have stopped right now. Says Maruti Suzuki here. Color treatment, just to check if you're colorblind or not. Lights are, everything is basic. Okay, obviously 1985. That is the exhaust. Faisal Khan's fingers of truth will stay away from this exhaust anyways. And the spare wheel is placed right here, which is not an alloy because regular wheels are only not an alloy. Body on frame platform, of course. And you get leaf springs because they are very rugged, right? It gets a solid axle. Yeah, so solid axle leaf springs here. Now there is a light for the number plate right there. Says CNG, you can see the rear parking sensors. And it says some signal, I don't know what that means, but there are a lot of hooks. In order to open this, very easy, you just pull it like this. The other side I've already opened for convenience sake, and there you can put it down. You can put it down completely as well. All you need to do is remove this from here, yep, and now you can put it all the way down too. So that's kind of cool. Getting in is not difficult at all. You just climb in like that. So this is actually long enough. Air intake, this is for releasing the pressure from the CNG tank, of course. And yeah, peekaboo, I see you. That is the interior, very, very, very basic in this car. So anyways, let's get out from here, which means jumpy. And let's just shut this. So it's not difficult actually, it's quite light. Yeah, everything is light in usually Maruti Suzuki cars for better fuel efficiency, and the quality also seems quite good. Now thing is that you can see the indicator functioning. I'm worried, will I deplete the battery in such a short time? Number plate is given on the side, reflector is almost everywhere possible, and that brings me to the battery. So the battery is actually placed here. Now the battery has a cover, a lock sort of, with carry badging on it. This is actually an accessory, okay, because the battery is exposed, so anyone can steal it. So you have to anyways install that accessory. Maybe they could have given it as standard, says Maruti here on the mud flap as well. Now the thing is, these are vinyl seats and you can actually sleep in here, so it's like a bed. Obviously you have to be chintu mintu, and this is lockable. The glove box is lockable with lot of papers. Yes, if you notice one thing, oh god, yeah, it's shut. If you notice, no one gets a head unfortunately, so there's no headrest, and the co-passenger doesn't even get probably a head because he cannot save his head from the sun as there's no visor here. But technically neither does the driver get a head. Why does he get a visor? I have no clue. Sort of empty space here, so you can get in and out quite easily. And you know what, this seat probably opens. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, it does. I don't know why the seatbelt has been put, but I think it has a seatbelt warning also. Okay, there you see, there is the engine. There is where the engine oil goes. So this seat is actually heat resistant, so that when you sit in, you don't burn yourself. So again, you have seen something similar with other Maruti cars like the Omni and all, because these cars are from the same family. In fact, I kid you not, these are exactly the same cars. Okay, now here is a bottle holder. Jack is placed right here, and I'm just going to lift this to show you the engine. There is the engine. You are sitting on the engine, and yeah, that is the radiator here, which you can see from the front as well. I'll just show that to you. Yes, radiator placement is right here. Okay. The thing is that diesel engine is discontinued, so you either get it on CNG or you get it in petrol. This is not letting me close it, so we're just going to hold this and slot it back. There, it shuts. Okay, you have to secure this by putting, yeah, like this. You can see the steering is exposed, so it's a rack and pinion steering, of course, and it is a divider between the clutch and the brake. And you know what, there is no dead pedal, but there's so much space now. You can keep your leg wherever you feel like. You're actually sitting on the wheel arch and the engine. Okay, very hard. Some instructions here about CNG. Manually retractable windows, of course. This is a handle here. There's some storage space here. This is to switch between CNG and petrol, and it's not a very comfortable car somehow, although it's meant to be offering you the comfort of, yes, a car and the ruggedness of a truck or the utility. Some storage space here, dummy for your audio system. Some storage space here, 12 volt charging socket. No provision for AC, no AC vents also. The horn is okay types. Steering is like very upright. These are the controls for the wipers, and these are the controls for the lights. Let's turn it on actually. Okay, so because I had, yeah, now it is fine. There it turns on. Typical Suzuki motor, very smooth, very refined. You've got a lot of information here. So you've obviously got a trip meter. I mean, odometer is there. It's telling you if you're in CNG or petrol, and then I can browse through twin trip meters, which is kind of nice. There's a clock as well, and obviously fuel meter. This is the speedometer. Let's use the wipers right away. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, there's spray on offer, but then you have to operate them separately. You can't operate them together, but at least it stops in place. There's a sun visor here. There's a light placement here. There's a mirror which has no dimming function at all. And it tells you the maximum speed is limited to 80 kilometers per hour. Thank God they told me. I was actually planning to go on a rally driving at maybe 120 kilometers per hour. This is the gear lever. There's some storage space here. The handbrake is vertical. Yeah, vertical handbrake, which is actually very good for drifting as well. And telltale lights are placed everywhere. Let's rev the motor. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's start driving right away. Before that, let me show you. There's actually decent amount of headroom here, and then there are no AC vents, but there's actually a window through which air actually comes inside, and yeah, it's quite comfortable. Only thing is my leg is hitting the wipers, so automatic wipers courtesy of my knee, which is a revolutionary feature, isn't it? And mirrors have to be manually adjusted like this. For that one, well, you have to stretch, but it's not that bad because the cabin is so narrow. Now you can definitely manage that. Let's go. Alright, we all set to go, which means turning on the car. There is no clutch lock, and this is not a car. That is the noise of the clutch, which is weird. Honestly, it's very weird, the clutch sound. And the placement of the handbrake is not ergonomic. It's so vertical now that it becomes weird when you actually try to like put it down completely. You have to go down all the way. Now I think it is on CNG. Oh my god, the pickup is actually impressive. Only thing is the clutch is quite noisy right now. Oh my god, we're already at 40. I'm quite impressed by the pickup. So this is obviously light in terms of weight. Steering has no feel expectedly, obviously, because body on frame platform, and we have got a rigid axle with leaf springs at the rear. At the front we have got McPherson struts with coil springs, so front suspension is better. It gets a bit bouncy because leaf springs only work better when there is load, and there is no load in the rear, so that's a bit of a problem right now. So it becomes a little bit bouncy. Its cousin, you can see it right there, right in front, that ambulance. We'll talk about that in a bit. So what powers this vehicle? Well, I always try to say car, but it's actually a light commercial vehicle or a mini truck in that regard. So body roll is actually well contained for a vehicle of this kind. The clutch is only noisy, but it is actually light enough. And you know what, the gearbox is slick shifting. The engine is very refined. It's very smooth somehow, something you would expect from Suzuki. But then the diesel they had was 10x noisier than this one, which was an 800cc two-cylinder unit producing 32 PS of power and around 75 Newton meters of torque. But it did not comply with BS6 emission norms, so it had to be discontinued. But it was very frugal, because we had a Celerio with the same engine, and that used to return around 25 kilometers per liter fuel efficiency, but it was like really very noisy. Whenever we used to turn the car on in the morning, the whole neighborhood used to wake up. And then yeah, it was not having any sort of privacy because everybody knew we were around. Anyways, the brakes are decent, I would say. Not great, but they are decent. For a vehicle of this kind, it's fine. You can't just go fast over these breakers and all because it bounces a bit. Now powering this vehicle is a 1.2 litre 4-cylinder engine known as the G12B. No, it's not using a K series engine, which might come in here considering the Eco has it. So this engine is actually producing around 72 horsepower and 98 Newton meters of torque in the petrol only version. Now this is the CNG, so with CNG power becomes lower. So it's actually producing 64 horsepower and the torque output is 85 Newton meters. I was thinking about that, don't remember it off my mind. So peak power comes in at 6000 rpm, peak torque comes in at 3000 rpm, and the result is that this is actually very drivable a car or vehicle. And then, you know, steering has a lot of play in the center. Handling is not great, ride is okay. Ride becomes better when you obviously load stuff in the rear. And then there are three variants on offer. There's a petrol deckless, which is a cab chassis wherein you won't get the bay at the rear. You can customize it and decide how you want it yourself. If you have maybe a money carrying machine like that one right ahead, or if you're I mean, it depends, like if you're an ambulance or a dumper truck or garbage truck or whatnot, so then you can customize it accordingly. And then there's the CNG version, which is the third version. So price actually depends. So 5.5 lakhs for the petrol, 6 lakhs for the deckless, and 6.5 lakhs for this vehicle which I'm driving right now. Now we are obviously going to hit the top speed of this vehicle because that's what we do. And there we are. Yeah, I am already in 4th gear and I have managed to hit the top speed, which is 80 kilometers per hour. So all commercial vehicles are actually limited to 80 kilometers per hour naturally, because that's how it's done. Now thing is that it is obviously quite noisy, but the engine is very silent and refined, so you don't hear much from the engine, and you hear a lot. Okay, there, limiter kicked in, so I shift into 5th gear. Again, limiter kicked in, can't move any further. This car is a 5-speed gearbox. Honestly, it doesn't need a 5-speed gearbox. It's fine by having a 4-speed box only. They can save some money right there. And yeah, you don't sit that high up as such. Its main rival is the, oh god, it gets so bouncy. The main rival is the Tata Ace, which is available in petrol, CNG as well as diesel, and it's known as the Chota Elephant or Chota Hathi. So the Ace is also more aggressively priced, but it's not as reliable as a Suzuki Super Carry. There is no two ways about it, because the reliability of this vehicle is what really makes it so good. So this is actually from 2016. 2016 they launched it with the diesel engine, and then the petrol came in later because obviously they could not continue selling the diesel. And you can hear all of that and more every time you come across these rumblers on the road, so which is a bit of a bummer. The horn is quite loud. I feel it's on the inside, but it's actually on the outside. I've already shown you that, haven't I? 1st gear, and now it's time for a U-turn. Turning radius is very less because it's just 4.3 meters, so it's effortless to actually take a turn. Yeah, and it has a gradability of 21%. So if you opt for the petrol, it comes with a tank capacity of 30 liters for petrol. Meanwhile, for CNG, it comes with a water equivalent of 70 liters. So there are 2 tanks, 35 liters each. So that is the water capacity. But CNG can be filled between 9 to 11 kgs, and the claim mileage is 21 kilometers per kg, which is actually quite good. But in the real world, you're not going to get that, obviously, because those are claim numbers. So 9 to 11 kgs of CNG can be filled in this 70-liter equivalent of water tank, which is 35 into 2, and it all depends on the pressure, how much you can fill in. So to do a full tank of CNG, it's going to cost you roughly around 950 rupees, depending on the cost of CNG, which equates to a running cost of approximately rupees 6 per kilometer, because on one full tank you are going to go around 150 kilometers. So it is rupees 6 per kilometer, which is not very frugal, and diesel would be better. Plus, let's not forget that in CNG you have to stand in huge lines as well, which is a big bummer. Yeah, that CNG filling station, and then the restricted range is another problem. And here we go. So basically the weight of this vehicle with CNG is 975 kgs. The petrol is 860 kgs, and the petrol has a claimed mileage of 17 kilometers per liter. So obviously this is heavier, and because of the heavier weight of the CNG model, it also reduces the overall loading haul capacity. So it's not as much as the petrol, and yeah, it does nosedive under heavy braking. I don't think there's power assist on the steering. Once you get going, it's easy, but otherwise, you know, it does require considerable effort to twirl. So yeah, there is no power steering here for sure. And now is the time you guys have been waiting for. So finally we are going to launch this. So the thing is that it can haul 625 kgs the CNG, the petrol can haul 740 kgs, and the driver's seat is also sliding, which means into first gear, hazard lights off, revving the motor. Oh, little bit wheel spin. First gear, oh my god, 50 almost. Second gear, gearing is so tall. Freak, second gear 80, third gear 80, fourth gear 80, fifth gear 80. This guy just needs a 2-speed gearbox, because that is the level of performance and tall gearing, which is absolute madness here. Unbelievable the way this engine pulls. That's why a Suzuki engine is a Suzuki engine. This motor is so free revving and high revving, and it just like feels mad in the top end. So of course all this is because this is an MPFI engine, and then obviously it has so much grunt. It really pulls. It's like overpowered. This engine, 1.2 liters for a vehicle of this category, is just insane. Unbelievable performance. Literally blows your mind. If you want to get one, get a petrol. It has a 30-liter fuel tank, 17 kilometers per liter claimed mileage. It will be higher in terms of running cost, but at least the goods which you deliver to people would be happy to know that they traveled at good speed and good acceleration and had good gravity or good G's hitting them. But yeah, this limiting till 80 kilometers per hour is a terrible idea, because look at me, I'm at 80 kilometers per hour in second, third, fourth and fifth. What? Insane. Insanely stupid. Okay, it has something known as load sensing some valve, which basically alters the braking performance depending on the load behind, and because obviously it's a body on frame with leaf springs, the ride is not that good. However, it's time to launch, which means traction control off, launch control on, driving the motor, and off we go. Oh my god, the vehicle was going rightwards because the performance is absolutely breathtaking, unbelievable. I cannot imagine this to be so good. So let's quickly talk about the history of this vehicle. So Super, oh my god, I'm like, I should have hit the red line, but no, I've hit the limiter. So basically this vehicle was launched in 1961. It's in its 13th generation currently. This is based on the 8th generation model, which actually came in way back in 1985. It's based on the Carry Futura. So the underpinnings and all are from 1985, but they're still very much robust. Now the 7th generation model was actually sold in India because they had a Carry van, which in India was sold for 35 years as the Omni, and then they realized that the van is becoming so popular, let's call it something new. So they changed the name to Every. So basically the Omni is the Every, and then both are related. Basically this particular vehicle's van version was simultaneously on sale with a different name. So the 10th generation version of the Carry had a van version, of course, and the Every Plus, the bigger van, is the Versa, and then the Eco. So yes, that's the 10th generation version. It's insane. We have got this vehicle for so many years. I like the indicator sound as well. So there's no air conditioning, and you can get it fitted in this version, but you can't get it fitted in the diesel. The diesel engine doesn't have enough power to be able to actually give you diesel engine air conditioning performance. By the way, this vehicle is so popular globally in its 13 generations. It has been rebadged by Nissan, by Ford, by Chevrolet, by Holden, by Mitsubishi, by Nissan. It's absolutely insane, the popularity of this vehicle. Now the thing is, I'm going to turn on NOS, so I'm going to come to a halt here. Hazard lights on. Can't brake heavy, because when you do, you can feel that nosedive under heavy braking. There, I am actually going to shift to petrol power, and I don't know if there's enough petrol or not. Okay, just shift me. Yeah, we are in petrol. Into first gear, hazard lights off, revving the motor. So guys, this is my vlog of the Suzuki Carry SCNG. It is fantastic, super fun. I never believed that a commercial vehicle like this could be fun. It feels light, agile, nimble and fun, and obviously the performance is mind-blowing in first and second only till the rev limiter hits. Bye-bye.